What an awesome segment, yaar. To end the show which was pretty mid. Like you could see the way the things that happened on the show, the way it was structured. They didn't really care about the show. Like you had two all-star tag matches taking up a lot of time, and it showed that they just want to get to SummerSlam. And but the ending, man, like that b- because one thing is the match was so even the first promo I didn't watch the first hour of the show, so I don't really know much. The thing is I did see some spots like of the mixed tag match that happened, like AJ throwing Kyrie over the top rope. AJ, like people actually cheering loud when AJ finally got his hands on Dominic Mysterio, him pinning Dominic Mysterio, which shows that Dominic is probably gonna retain the title. Though probably due to Judgment Day shenanigans, I can see Finn, maybe even Roxanne too. But I can see probably what happens is that Roxanne comes out to save Dominic, but Kabuki Warriors come out, they chase them out, and then maybe Finn comes, and that's why Dominic retains the title. And but apart from that, though it is kind of sad to see that AJ might not get a major title reign before his retirement. Like he's gonna retire at 50. Most probably in 2 years he'll retire. So that is sad to see. But apart from that, from what I have heard, the first segment between Paul and Jay was like 15 minutes of just nonsense. So, so I don't know what to say. I didn't watch that. But apart from that, this this is what you're going to talk about. This and the Gunther Punk segment. That it was a straight up match between Jay and Bronson. Like before the match, you had Braun Breaker come up to Bronson and say, "I have a plan," and they're kind of showing that in Seth's absence, you have uh, Breaker stepping up to the plate. Like he's stepping up to the plate. He is trying to be the leader. Though it's very funny that his plan essentially was to spear Jay. Like you could see Braun just jumping for a spear, like towards Jay, which was brutal. And then you had Roman come out. He saved Jay. He hit a couple of Superman punches, but then it was not like Braun and Bronson hit like a low blow or they raked their eyes. When Roman and Jay went out of the ring to like double spear them, they just straight up beat their asses. They didn't like low blow him. Paul Heyman didn't stand in the way. They just straight up beat their asses. Like Bronson gave him like a running clothesline to Jay. Braun Breaker just speared Roman like hard as hell. They took them in the ring, beat them up. Braun talked shit to the camera, essentially repeating Roman's promo, which he did, before his match with Logan Paul. He said that, these fat asses, you know, they these dogs, they bark for me, this is my ring now. And you really had them talk their shit up, and it was just like, first, like it was overpowering Braun, but also like the way Braun stepped up, it was like, this is the guy that you build the company around. Though I'm sad for Bronson Reed, because if he had not been injured, of course he would have been in this spot, but he would have been more protected, because Bronson is still in a major position, but you can clearly see, like if they want someone to take a pin, it will be Bronson. If they want someone to get beat up, it will be Bronson. But if he was not injured at that time, they were protecting him a lot. It was not like he was gonna be in this spot anyways. But he would have been higher in like their totem pole than he is right now. But I am glad that even though like it was Braun giving the double spear, it was, but he still was there with him. He was still talking his shit. He stole Roman's shoes. He took his shoes, his Jordans. Like I don't know how much that cost. I and he kissed it, which was very disgusting. But the way they stood tall, I was like, why are they not monsters? Why are they not like uh, like in the tag team division? Like why are they not the tag team champions? Like it's one thing that WWE has kind of lost is first is that characters with like moral gray, like Seth when he was a heel and you could see that he was a face and he was doing heelish actions. You can say that he had kind of a reason because he said that Roman is never around. I defeated the bloodline. Why are you cheering for them? Punk is a fragile old man. It's just that when he turned heel, you just had him be like a basic heel, which is a problem. Like whenever they put Seth in this position, it kind of looks like even Seth himself and WWE just just pitches him as a one-dimensional character. That's why they had Bronson and Braun Breaker just be his, lackeys. Why not have him that they are lackeys, but they're lackeys by their choice? And why don't you have them have more arguments between them? Like Seth, knowing that they are on a totem pole lower than them, but still him giving them respect, and you're kind of like conflicted, like he is doing bad but at the same time he has them lower as them, but he's treating them right. Is he right or not? But they're not doing that. Like I confer back to the Seth and Sami Zayn segment that we had, which was I think probably before Survivor Series, where they brought up so much things back. That was such a convoluted segment. I think that was the night that Drew McIntyre returned, I think. So you need to do stuff like that. Apart from that, the Gunther CM Punk promo, everyone liked it. I didn't really like it. It felt like Punk was saying all the things that he usually says. It's just that he was speaking it with much more like fire in him, like much more emphasis on certain words. You can say that he put Gunther in like him making Gunther doubt himself, because CM Punk literally little bro him, like said that like kid, like you're not fit to be in my shoes, that both of our careers have been great, but mine, the people that I face, you would just like dream for you to face them, and that I don't want. I need to be a world champion. That I am the best in the world because I've earned it. Gunther tried to shut him up, like Punk just silenced him there. But I think he could have brought up, which he kind of did indirectly, but he could have brought up directly that you have been a world champion, but when who all, like you have not beaten the people like I have. You could have added that I have beaten people like Cena, I have beaten people like, other main eventers that you can bring up, but they didn't bring that up. They could have brought that up. They could have said that even though like the matches that I have lost, like I have not lost because I was insecure. I lost because of interference and everything. While you have used interference to win, your insecurity, your ego has cost you your matches. Mine hasn't. Like mine has led to distractions and everything, but mine has, like they could have like fleshed it out a bit more, and it kind of felt like this was like a second segment that happened. Like first segment, Gunther like silences him, second CM Punk silences him, and the third, which is the penultimate, you have where both of them have like a mic off, like where one person is saying something, the other person is saying something, but that didn't happen. And Gunther could have had a better comeback to the "you tapped out" chants rather than I did, but I have more things to talk about Punk. Like someone like Nathan said on Twitter, like he could have said like, yeah, just like CM Punk did in UFC. I think you could have brought that up also. And apart from that, I think Lyra was that they should just let Lyra be herself, because it looks like when Lyra like does this promo, it's like a typical wave-based promo. You can put anyone there, and it won't make a difference. That Lyra just needs to be herself more, and she needs to like not have the same tone in her promo. Like she has to know, like there are certain words you emphasize in a certain way. You kind of not make it look like it's phony, which she kind of does. So we need to work on that. But she beat Becky's ass with a kendo stick. It was a fine angle. It was like nothing special. You had a Karen Cross and Sami Zayn promo as well, where it was essentially that Karrion, if he wins, he wants Sammy to admit that Sammy was right, and Sammy wants Karrion to admit that he was wrong if he wins. But it was much more than that. Like you could see that Karrion Cross was angry that he couldn't do that, and you could say that he's a heel. uh, he's saying that because he thinks, but he's also like convoluted from inside, but maybe he isn't. That's what Sammy brought up. Though what I could see is Sammy is definitely winning. But what I can see happen is him probably using the pipe to win. So in a way, Carrion loses, but he kind of proves his point that Sammy is a villain, and I do think that's probably what's best for both the parties. Like, because they are clearly setting up Sammy to eventually win the World Heavyweight Championship sometime, probably next year sometime. Like, the Rumble is in Saudi, like they're doing so, they need to have him have wins. Like, he has been losing a lot. So, and even then, like, Carrion in the end gets his goal, that he did beat him, but he gets his goal, that he has Sammy admit that yeah, he is just like everyone else. So I think you can do that, and I think it will work for both. I just hope the match is good because you don't have any stipulation. And it kind of made sense for Sammy and Cross to have a stipulation because they have been using the steel pipe a lot. But that's not, I do think, but the steel pipe is gonna be like the Chekhov's gun, like it's gonna go off in the match. Karen and Scarlett's expressions were really good also. And apart from that, like, you had the All Star Women's Tag, which Stephanie got the pin. I'm glad. I'm just feeling that Nikki Bella must feel so slighted that they didn't have her in. They had her in the Evolution Battle Royal, then they have her on Raw for a few weeks. Like, them, like, just having her have a match on Raw, which is after years, she had against Chelsea, and then having her in a mini feud alongside Stephanie and just ending it on Raw, and not at SummerSlam. They did not add that match at SummerSlam. Just did an All-Star tag, which, and their mini feud was just kind of like back burner to like Naomi leaving the match, like whatever happening with Naomi, Io, and Rhea. You had Io saying that you to Rhea after the match that you never have beat me and you never will. That also happened. Naomi had a promo also. So Naomi is probably gonna retain because she walked out. The baby faces won. Becky, you had a Bailey interview also where she said that she was at a loss of words, and I can see Bailey probably turning heel on Lyra, and probably Bailey and Lyra have a program. Becky has people to feud with, like Kabuki Warriors. Like, they can go into singles action, have feud with Asuka, have a feud with Kyrie also. Maybe knowing Becky, she can find someone who is not getting TV time, have her in a feud with them. And I do think because Stephanie is probably not gonna win the women's championship from Naomi at Clash of Paris, why not have Stephanie be the ultimate opponent for Becky? Why not have Stephanie beat Becky for the Intercontinental Championship whenever you want? I think that can be good. And what you do with Lyra is you have her in a feud with Bailey, give Bailey like upper hand and at the start have her win like one match or something, and in the end Lyra wins and she goes into the Women's World Championship picture. I think that works well for everyone. And that was the show. Like, nothing special. I think the Gunther and Punk segment, and you had Finn, Judgment Day winning against LW because two El Grande Americano showed up, which is probably Pete Dunne. It is very like funny that I don't mind the El Grande Americano stuff. It's just that they're putting people in mass that they think that they can only push in a certain way. It's just that what is their plan with this? Like, are they gonna have both of these El Grande Americanos feud? Are they gonna have these El Grande Americanos team up? But then these are all people that they can push without the mask. Like, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate already have a tag team, New Catch Republic. You just need to like maybe put some vignettes, put them in matches, and voila, they are a vital part of the tag team division, which Raw actually needs. The match was nothing special between Judgment Day and LW, but they had spots in the match which showed out the LW. It showed out that they can be more than just, oh, we need a title defense for the Judgment Day. You had the old Nintendo Switch segment also. Who would have liked to play Nintendo Switch? Carlito. No. Live. But okay. Like, and what about Tyler Bate? Like, I thought that Pete Dunne was injured. What about Tyler Bate? Like, what will he do now? Like, you're not gonna push him as a single star. Like, what does he do now? So I don't know what happens with that, but let's see. Like, they have whatever they have done with El Grande Americano has worked with the crowd, because the crowd did have a reaction when the first Grande Americano come out, and confusion when the second one did. So let's see what happens with that. And it's just that they have got the mandatory tag title defense out of the picture. Let's see what they do, because one thing is, I do think Bliss and Charlotte are winning, because they probably want to strike when the iron is hot, sell some allies of convenience shirts. Though I can see Raquel and Roxanne probably winning it back again. I think, and not that like long. I don't see them holding the tag titles for long. Maybe 2 months, 3 months. Then I think something will happen with the Wyatt Six, and then you have the tag titles back on Raquel and Roxanne. And I think having Dom as Intercontinental Champion still kind of makes sense, because they've not really done a good job with Dominic apart from this AJ feud. Like, he had a feud with Penta, but that was like fine. Then he didn't have anything for a while. Then he just faced Octagon, and then this feud with AJ. So I think probably we know the ultimate is Finn is gonna win the Intercontinental Championship in some way, like other. Like, you can keep the AJ feud going, maybe do a triple threat with Finn, Dom, AJ, maybe at Clash at Paris or something. Have Finn win the title there, and I do think probably the ultimate goal will be Dominic to break out from the Judgment Day, maybe turn face and take the title back from Finn at WrestleMania. Maybe Demon Balor also. Let's see what happens. This, and Roman and Jay are winning. I can see LA Knight interfering in that match and helping Roman and Jay win, because commentary did mention, like, Braun Breaker did rake LA Knight's eyes to win the match. You can have LA Knight interfere, rake his eyes, and have Roman like pin. I do hope that Gunther gets a win over Punk, because he did kind of get bitched out this week. It made sense, but in the end, if you're gonna have Seth cash in on Punk, Gunther kind of gets nothing. He gets bitched out on Raw. He loses his title when he doesn't get pinned. So what does he gain out of this Punk feud? Kinda nothing. So I hope Gunther gets a pin. You can have Seth cash in later in the year. You don't need to do it right now. You can have him cash in later in the year, and just give Gunther a win. Like, he's in the main event of Night 1 SummerSlam most probably. So give him a pin. Will win for victory over Punk. Have Seth interfere. Maybe have Gunther then feud with LA Knight. LA Knight can lose. It doesn't really matter. Like, the Bronze can interfere. Gunther can win. So you can do stuff. I do think Gunther needs the win. And with the Roman J stuff, if you have interference, if you have Bronson Reed taking the pin, it doesn't really take anything away from both the Bronsons. So it's fine. So that was my review. What did you think about Raw? Tell me in the comment section. If you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter/X account and my Instagram account, links are in the description, so go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is ShapBoy3rd OKICICI, is also in the description, so go donate any amount of money which you can, which can help you make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for right now. So thank you, goodbye, Aloha.